Hey folks, this is Chris, and welcome back to another reloading video. This video is the second of a multi-part series that I'm recording on how to do precision reloading for 308 Winchester. So what I have here, those 30 pieces of brass from the intro video, those were the ones that weighed in the middle of the bell curve, the 75% that weighed in the middle of the bell curve. Yep. Other 10 are here. I'm going to use one of these as a sacrificial one later in the process to adjust my resizing die to make as close as possible to an exact cast of my chamber. But first, I have to just completely bulk resize these, prime them, load them with a ladder load of powder, seat a bullet, and then I have to fire them in that chamber so that they can get fire formed to it, and then I'll be able to get them much closer. First thing first, we need lube. I like to use this stuff that is a combination of 99% isopropyl alcohol and lanolin. In a pinch, you can use cooking oil if you wanted. There's very little lanolin in this mix, and that's one of the key things. What you want to do is you use the alcohol to dissolve the lanolin, but very dilute, and then you spray that on the cases, and then you let the alcohol evaporate, and it leaves the extremely thin film of lanolin on the case. If you put too much lube on a case, and when it goes up into your resizing die, I don't think this die, oh, it does have a vent hole. Let me see if I can get that on camera. So that little vent hole is to prevent or to allow some place for gas to escape when you shove that case up in there. The hydraulic forces are incredible inside of this die when you're resizing a case, especially a case that's as big and thick as a 308 Winchester. If you have too much lube in there, it can actually dimple the case, and it will dimple it right up around the shoulder area here. Sometimes to the point where it could potentially cause a failure. So you don't want to do that. You just want to use as minimal amount of lube as you can. A lot of people use this stuff, and if you're going to use something like this, you put a tiny little bit on your finger and you rub it super thin. This is definitely not a case of the bigger the blob, the better the job, but a dabble doer instead. So I think when I filled up this bottle initially, I put like half a teaspoon of lanolin and filled the rest of it up with isopropanol. So this is going to last me forever. Anyhow, I've already got that all mixed up. So this is how I do it. I have a special bag that I just use for lube. It's kind of sticky in there because there's still lanolin in there from the last time. In fact, there's probably enough lanolin in here still that I could just put alcohol in there and that would be sufficient. But I'm going to use a spray. Usually I do this by the 100, so I would use like 5 sprays. I'm only doing 30, so I'm going to do 2 quick little squirts. Fill that bag back up. Alright, yeah, those are lube. Okie doke. While the alcohol evaporates off that, I'm going to install the seating die. Maybe over here. Now normally I use this guy to do my resizing. but I'm recording this video specifically for someone who only has this guy. So that's what we're going to do. Okay. Now previously I have this this die set up to precision load LC brass for my rifle. I'm going to start this process from the beginning. So I got to loosen that lock ring. Get that started. Get a shell holder in there. RTFM. Okay. To adjust the full length size die, raise the press ram to its highest position. Thread the full length die into the press until the base touches the shell holder head. Okay, and then tighten the lock ring, and that is it. So that's how you set up a full-length resizing die to just resize, and I'm not going to tighten this lock ring down because it should hold it. This is to basically resize back to SAMI specs, which isn't necessarily what you always want to do, but for this purpose today, I'm definitely going to do it this way. As I said, I'm going to be fireforming them to my chamber, but this is found brass that was fired out of somebody else's gun, so it's not going to fit. Alright, got some lube on there. We go all the way up, and we go all the way down. Done. Okay, you get the idea. In the next video, I'm going to just briefly touch on priming, and then I'm going to start measuring powder charges and explain how I work the ladder load. Alright, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.